Hello and welcome to HT Auto. I'm Shubhadeep and right now we are at the Tata Motors' camp here at Auto Expo 2023. Tata Motors has showcased a number of its products here and we've spoken about all of them individually. Do check out that video. But to speak to us more about the models, the strategy and a whole lot more, we're joined by Rajan Amba, Vice President for Marketing, Sales and Customer Service at Tata Motors. Rajan, thank you for taking the time out and speaking to us. Rajan, let's just start by reflecting back on 2022. How was it for Tata Motors?
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
It's been a phenomenal year for us, as you very well know. In the calendar year, we handsomely crossed 5 lakh of units, which, we've never crossed 5 lakhs in the history of the company. And therefore, the augurs well for the entire year. The growth rates have been double, triple that of the industry month on month throughout the year. Very strong number 3 position. Quite a big moat and barrier between us and the number 4 at this point in time, and within touching distance of number 2. Of course, that's not the reason why we do what we do. That is simply an outcome of things. I think we're very proud of the work we did this year, the interventions, the launches that we put out there, the Punch becoming first vehicle in this industry to sell 1 lakh units in just 10 months. It's never happened before. We've had the Dark Edition version 2, which has done well. We've had the CNG launches. We've had the Jet Edition. We've had the Kaziranga Edition, something that I'm personally very proud of. So I think it's been a great year in terms of introducing the brand to the customers and telling these wonderful stories which have found resonance with our consumers.
Right. You said introducing the brand to consumers, but Tata Motors as a brand has really needs no introduction, right? But the models themselves do, considering the number of newer models that have come out. Now you have cars right from the start, say Punch and the Tiago, to all the way to the likes of the Safari, the Harrier, and perhaps going even beyond all of that. How important then is the growing preference towards the SUV body shape? Because the likes of the Punch, the Harrier, the 3-row Safari, all of them have an SUV or SUV-ish profile.
So I think the whole SUV trend is here to stay for a few more years at least. I think we have a very strong percentage of our business, 65%, which is sitting in that portfolio, and we're very comfortable with that. I think a 65-35 is a good split to have that gives us space to operate in both sides of the segment, which at industry level are quite significant. So I think the CNG introduction is one more effort in our part to ensure that the 35% of the hatch and the sedan segment, we continue to bring innovation to those segments and those consumers as well, particularly in a space which is, ownership cost is sensitive. And I think this wonderful twin-cylinder technology, while it may sound, simple and nobody thought of it, but the fact that it has been able to relieve the customer one of the drawbacks of CNG, which is completely obliterating the boot space. And when you show it to your consumers, we'll see that the entire boot space has been preserved, and yet you get the combination of ICE and CNG. So I think that's going to be a wonderful addition to our already quite robust CNG portfolio, and that's going to help us boost the business there and balance our business even better.
Right, you've spoken about CNG, so let's just get straight into that. You're clearly focusing on the CNG technology. You see a growth potential here with the iCNG. This one right here, we're standing next to the Ultros iCNG. We've been getting a lot of questions about the Ultros CNG version. When can we actually have this on the market? Can you give us a timeline for that?
In a few more months. It'll take a few more months, but we'll be certainly looking forward to having it within the immediate new fiscal year.
All right. Tata Motors offers their models. Your models are in petrol. You're betting big on CNG, and really the electric powertrain has really gone through the roof, and it's evolving and it's gradually increasing. But we also do get a lot of questions about diesel engines and so on and so forth. Now, the SUVs, the larger SUVs that you have in your lineup, specifically the Harrier and the Safari, are only diesel engine parts. So do you think you're missing out on an audience, especially here in Delhi NCR, which is increasingly perhaps not preferring a diesel car, considering there's a 10-year ban?
Look, I'm sure we are missing out. I mean, there's no doubt about that. It's very difficult to meet every customer's expectations, and when we try and do that, we just end up complicating our portfolio and proliferating the portfolio to an extent that it becomes difficult to manage for our dealer partners as well. So I think we tend to use a lot of science and analytics to build a portfolio which is most appropriate. Yes, it may not meet everybody's expectations. There'll always be going to be some business we leave at the table. For example, I often get asked very often the question around the four-wheel drive. But that's something let's say we've chosen to leave it off the table because we don't see enough there for us to kind of invest in. I think the whole petrol thing is also a similar situation. But at the same time, with the growing investment on the EV side from the company, we see no reason why the petrol-seeking consumer cannot move now to the EV version of these vehicles that we've just introduced in this expo.
Right.
So I think it's a play between the different powertrains that we have in our portfolio, and we are blessed that we have a very, very strong EV technology, and we have a prime mover advantage where we have a lot of learning from what we have achieved there. And I think for us that's a more robust direction and a more fruitful direction to take, not just for the consumer but also for the environment.
Right. How much is the focus and the goodwill being generated by electric vehicles in your product portfolio, helping the internal combustion engine counterparts of the same model? Is that something you're observing?
I think it's a symbiotic relationship. The Nexon brand is the Nexon brand. It's available across powertrains. We have a wonderful marketing team on the electric vehicle side, which are doing a brilliant job. And when we talk about Nexon on the ICE side, it benefits them, and they talk about Nexon on their side, it benefits us. I think as long as both the EV and the ICE powertrain are bringing consumers to our stores, it's fantastic. And after that, it's really the customer's choice to make. And we would like to facilitate the customer in making that choice. But together, as teams, we are driving consumers to the Tata brand and to the Nexon brand today, or to the Tigor brand, and tomorrow to some of the other brands that you've seen here.
Right. Now, Nexon is a bestseller in its segment, and the Tiago has been doing pretty well as well. But the Punch is also doing pretty well, one of your newer products. And recently, the Tiago's electric version was launched. Now, where I'm heading to is the question that a lot of people have on their minds. What is the progress then, considering that the Punch itself has been such a successful model, on getting an electric version of that car?
The progress is good. I can only say that.
No, is there a timeline?
I think there's so much that, for example, the Tiago EV itself, let me put it this way, there's going to be a lot to learn from the launch of the Tiago. It's the first EV vehicle in that price point, the first EV vehicle to hit at 20,000 odd booking in no time at all. And it's going to take some time for things to pan out to us to understand who's buying it, where it's going, how it's going to be used, because those learnings are going to help us to tweak further launches, especially in those price segments, because that's the first time anybody is entering in that price segment in this country. So I think that's going to be important before we take any further decision on what next to do on the EV side.
Right, so Tata Motors at the Auto Expo has already showcased the likes of the Harrier EV, the Sierra EV concept. Now, these cars will, of course, take some time before they hit production lines and out on the Indian roads. But how is 2023 possibly going to pan out for Tata Motors, both electric and conventional vehicles?
I think overall, the consensus, as you know, industry-wide consensus is about 6, 7, 8% growth for the industry. I think our endeavor always is going to be to beat that. I mean, it would be tough for us to sleep at night if we are not able to be significantly higher than the industry as we've been last year. But we think we've got the strategy. We think we've got the product portfolio. We think we've got the partners, wonderful dealer partners. I think we've done some great marketing work. We just need to build on that, and we hope that the overall sentiment around automotive industry remains strong, so that all of us have a fair share. There's a fair piece of that growth and pie to fight for. I think we're in a good place. I think the expo and the interest around our brand and product kind of gives us a lot more confidence for sure. Yeah.
Right. So good place can also be a better place. So is Rajan now saying that the number 2 place is up for the grabs for Tata Motors?
It's like I said earlier. It's not the way. That's not the way we work. Right. It's not. There are many ways to get to number 2. And there are many ways to fall even faster. We want to make sure that whatever growth we're building on is built on a solid foundation. The foundations have to be strong. And I think that with this portfolio and with this year coming up, it's a solid foundation that we want to build. Two can happen, two may not happen, but as long as we're there, very much there, and increasing the gap from the team, the players below us, I think that's more important for us.
All right, Rajan. On that note, thank you so much once again, and all the very best.
Cheers. Thank you.